we're going to do our candy bar cake. All right, now this is a recipe of recipes. This is an older recipe. Takes a little more work, so this takes a little bit of time to make this cake. So you prepare yourself to have a little time. All right, we're going to take a cup of butter. It's actually a half a cup of butter right now. So a stick of butter.
Butter or margarine?
Either one. You can use either one in this recipe. Now you can buy the good butter. Good butter is always makes things taste better. But for price constraints, we just use the Food Club, the cheaper spread. Now you're going to take 4 musketeer bars. We're going to put these in the pot. Do what? Well, there's 2 left in a pack always, so, you know, I mean, you got to do something with the other 2. But you can take the other 2 and chop those up and put those on top of your cake also. And I'm not normally wild about 3 Musketeer candy bars. I like them okay, but not my favorite of candy bars. Hershey bars are still my favorite, but this makes a wonderful cake. Now, I'm going to get this all over. This will melt fairly fast, except the nougat takes just a little bit longer. You just kind of mix that together with your spatula, but it will blend perfectly in just a moment. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit to melt.
Are those small size candy bars?
No, those are regular. You can get them at the checkout counter, or you can buy them in the 6 packs. They're less expensive if you buy a 6 pack.
Are they smaller?
No, these are regular size. This is a very rich cake. Okay, Miss Morris. So this is a cake to take to someone that you really like, or you're really wanting to impress people. All right. And it melts very, very quickly. While that is melting, 2 cups of sugar. Sorry about that. Just don't think I'd have felt comfortable just pulling that eggshell out of there. And it happens to the best people. I've never dropped an egg in something before, but I did today. So, okay, half a cup of butter. I have 1 egg. We'll go ahead and mix up in it. All right. All right, here we go. Rhonda's gone to get her eggs, get us a few more eggs. As you can see, the nougat, you just kind of just press it up in there. It is quite thick. We're going to let that sit just a minute. While she's getting her eggs, we'll go ahead and get our flour together. And our buttermilk and our baking soda. This is all-purpose flour, so this will be super easy. 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. Normally I level this off. Now, it does say to make it in a bundt pan. I did make one in a bundt pan. I made one in a 13 by 9 because I only had 1 bundt pan. It does do just as good, but it takes just as long. Most of the time, you know, in a 13 by 9, it won't. But this is such a thick cake that it does take that full amount of time. All right. Now, we're also going to take 1 1/4 cups of buttermilk. All right. I could have eyeballed that, but I'm kind of waiting on Rhonda. All right, then we add a half a teaspoon of baking soda. This cake is well worth it. It takes a little time to make, but you will find this is a very rich cake. It's not a cake you can just go out and buy somewhere. And people know that you've spent time and love on it. And that means a lot to people. All right. We're going to mix that up. I did this a little differently earlier today. I like to mix my baking soda in with the flour and then add the buttermilk. But everybody is different.
See, I always beat up my eggs and even though stuff into my eggs.
Do you? And that does help them. And if you beat one egg at a time, it does help aerate your cake or whatever you're making. It does make it a lot lighter. All right, we'll go ahead and add this in while we're waiting. We've then got one egg in there. I don't think that's going to move. That is very thick. All right. All right. She's probably ready to kill me. I had one egg. All right. About afraid to open it over top of it now. For time constraints, we're going to go ahead and just put all these in there.
You're doing it again.
I know, I'm going to do it again. I don't know why. All right. And we're going to beat this really good for just a moment. Then we're going to add our melted chocolate mixture. And this does put your mixer to work. Nancy, you need a mixer for this cake. You can, but it would be, you have a hand mixer that's electric? It would take some work, a good thick spoon if you did this, because it's going to be really thick. All right. Yeah. Now I'm going to add my chocolate mixture into my mix. We're going to mix all of that up. Be just a second on that. Of course, don't turn your mixer on high to start. Boy, if I will ever learn that lesson, I don't know. Because I like to get it going, and I'll turn it on low for like 2 seconds, and then I'll turn it all the way up, and then wonder why it's splattering everywhere. Get that around really good. All right. Now, we're going to pour this into a greased bundt pan, but for that you can add pecans or not. I made one earlier and I did not add the pecans. This one I'm going to. About a cup of chopped pecans into the mix. Now see, this is a wonderful, it's not the color that you would think it would be. It's much lighter than what you would think it would be. It's a brown sugar color. Yes.
Not regular milk.
Buttermilk. Now you can, you know, add vinegar to regular milk and let it set to make buttermilk also. Now this is a large cake. It is a very dense cake when you get done. Yeah, you really would. As dark as that chocolate is with the butter, you would think it would be.
Well, there's really not that much chocolate though.
No, because most is that nougat stuff, and that's,
It's just kind of dipped in it.
yeah. But it looks so dark in the pot, and then
Yeah.
you, all right. Now, we're going to place this in the oven for an hour and 10 minutes at 325. So it's a little lower than what you normally cook most cakes. Now, we're going to make an icing. I've already made quite a bit. This icing, I made enough for 2 cakes, and it's probably enough if you want to put it on super thick, let your cake cool really good, put it on there a nice thick layer, or you can do a thinner glaze. You take 2½ cups of sugar, a cup of evaporated milk. You get that to soft boil stage, which is about 240 degrees. Some thermometers is almost to 250. You go ahead and you get that to the soft boil stage. That takes quite a few minutes, you know, about 10 minutes, somewhere thereof. And then you add a 6-ounce package of semi-sweet chocolate chips, a cup of marshmallow cream, and a ½ cup of butter. You stir that, and you stir, and you stir, and you stir. You take that off the heat when you do that. And you stir, and you get this beautiful thick icing, which mine's been sitting for a little while, so it's not quite as smooth looking, but it's almost as thick as fudge when it starts thickening up. All right, and we're going to ice one of our cakes. Go ahead and get it out. Now this is the one that I have made in the 13 by 9, and as you can see, it's a very heavy cake. But you can do this if you're serving a lot of people. Like I said, I only had 1 bundt pan, and so I needed another pan, and this worked just as good. Sometimes cakes that it is prettier, of course, and you'll get more of this rich icing. But this is great if you're taking it somewhere too. How many of you all know it's a little harder to take a bundt cake somewhere than it is a 13 by 9, chances are. And I am the world's worst about spilling things in the car. A good old rubber band works wonders though. All right, and like I said, you can take some of the couple of extra 3 musketeer bars and put on top of that. And this is your candy bar cake. All right,